Okay, guys, it's been a couple months now since the Southwest Speed Festival event has been in the books, I guess you might say. We had so much stuff happening on site during the weekend that we all needed a couple months to unwind. But I did want to post up our video from Race 5, the last race that was scheduled for the weekend for the open wheel group. Funny enough, we accidentally had an inverted grid because all of the Formula cars somehow were 5 minutes late to grid, so we ended up at the back and got to chase through the front. So in this video, you'll see me making a couple motions to the driver to the right of me to let him know that we need to increase the gap a bit and slow down to give us a gap to the rushes in front of us, because if we all launch at the same time, we're going to run into a ton of traffic rapidly, which is not good for any of us. So luckily he gets the message and we were able to space out. So this first time coming around, we ended up having an aborted start because of the broken car you saw earlier, that we had to make sure the car was clear before we started. So I'm going to go around a couple more times while they get that car clear of the track. So once the race has got underway, it's been pretty clean sailing for me. I basically got the goal of trying to get from the back of the field all the way to the front by the end of the race. So that's always a challenge. My competitors are right behind me the whole time, breathing on my neck. So it was a ton of fun to see if we could accomplish that goal after making such a huge mistake on grid. So after quite a bit of chasing, I was able to catch up with every single rush in this pack, which was fun. I ended up starting in the back, ended up finishing in the front out of a field of right around 30 cars. That was pretty awesome. So for the weekend, we were the open wheel champion overall and in class, which is pretty awesome. We hope next year there'll be more cars out there and even more of a challenge in the open wheel class. If you're interested in driving in the open wheel group or in open wheel in general, shoot us a message. We'd be happy to give you some pointers on how to start into it. It's not as hard as you'd think, and it's a lot of fun. Well, thanks for watching, guys. See you at the next Southwest Speed Festival happening in January of 2027. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you appreciate our content, and we'll see you next year.